Dr. Ranganathan, Donald Trump said 2 weeks. That took just 2 days.
Good evening, Pranesh, and good evening to my fellow panelists. First of all, can I just say that I now realize I have needlessly been self-deprecating on geopolitical matters, saying I'm a layman. If the developments of the last week are anything to go by, I'm as much as an expert as the next person. If you remember in Friday debate, I called out Trump's bluff of 2 weeks notice for his attack on Iran. And I also said that if he attacks Iran, it would be just the thing that Putin wants. Both predictions have come true given...
Dr. Ranganathan, why do you think you are here again on a Sunday after the Friday prediction?
Thank you. Look, the other advantage of allaying your fears on being an expert is that you can profess conspiracy theories with gay abandon. So here is mine. If, Pranesh, I was an evil dictator aiming to protect my nuclear facility from America, I would dig 300 feet underground in a remote location A, then tunnel 300 kilometers horizontally to reach a spot 300 feet beneath a populated city at location B, where I'll actually build the facility. Then I would allow America to bomb location A and let the world believe my nuclear facility has been destroyed. But then I'm not an evil dictator. But anyhow, 3 brief points. Number 1. For all those Indian Muslims, especially in Kashmir, pouring onto the streets, abusing Israel and USA and some stomping on Israeli flags and American flags with their feet, I want to ask, why don't they stomp on Chinese flags, knowing that China has interned 1.5 million Muslims in concentration camps and is feeding them pork and forcibly sterilizing them? And that China has demolished 1,700 mosques in the last 5 years? Kyun? Cat gets their tongue and their spine turns to jelly at the thought of their master China? Be that as it may, we have to balance our response to this war with what is in our best interest, like we did during the Russia-Ukraine war. Continue to buy Russian oil despite European and American pressure. Number 2, as I said, America attacking Iran and entering the Middle East war is just what Russia wanted. It can now leverage its own Ukraine war with American-Iran war by supplying Iran with all the weapons to keep Middle East burning. The only person smiling out here, Pranesh, is Putin. By escalating tensions in the Middle East, he diverts US attention from Ukraine. The US strikes will further spike oil prices, bolstering Russia's economy heavily reliant on energy exports. Additionally, a weakened Iran reduces its regional influence, allowing Russia to fill in the vacuum, especially after losing Syria's Assad regime. So by surreptitiously supporting Iran, Putin avoids direct confrontation while reaping strategic benefits, masterfully exploiting US actions to reshape global power dynamics in Russia's favor. Number 3, all those who want peace must be praying America does not orchestrate a regime change in Iran, because the past evidence suggests any regime change fashioned by America has led to America talking to that very regime after a decade. Look at Afghanistan. The same Taliban are back. Look at Syria. The man on whose head America put a bounty of $10 million is today shaking hands with Trump. Same with Iraq, same with Libya, which is undergoing a civil war. So let's hope America is not thinking of a regime change in Iran. And let's not talk of American hypocrisy, for crying out loud, of denying Iran nuclear bomb while facilitating Pakistan with one. By the way, Pakistan has nominated Trump for another Nobel Peace Prize for making it now the only rogue Islamic state with a nuclear bomb. Just 10 seconds. All in all, an unstable Middle East will help Russia and will force, unfortunately, India's hand for its energy needs. We are living in interesting times indeed, Pranesh.
You know, I don't know whether Trump gets the Nobel Peace or not, but Major Arya, Abhijit, Colonel RSN, let's nominate Dr. Ranganathan's name for one on geopolitics. The new expert on the block. But Abhijit, you were nodding your head, I think in disagreement to some points that Dr. Ranganathan spoke about.
Absolutely. I disagree with Anand on this completely. And I'll tell you why. Putin has not come off very well in this at all. America it has shown repeatedly, it stands by allies who pull their weight. It's quite happy to dump allies who don't pull their weight. Europe was essentially being this sort of woke. They weren't spending money on actual weapons and military. They were spending money on drag parades and gender change surgery and all that nonsense. But every time a worthwhile ally has required assistance, America has come through. In the last 3 years, Putin has abandoned every single ally sequentially. He abandoned Armenia. He abandoned the Assad government in Syria. he's now abandoned Iran. Iran was the same country that provided him with the Shahed drones which saved his face in Ukraine. The second thing he's going to be very upset about is that American weapons have proven their worth time and again. Remember, Ukraine is getting very 20, 30-year-old American weapons or Western weapons. Israel is not a spring chicken. It makes its own additions to the F-35 and F-16s and things like that. It's a very clear deterrence message that Putin has got. It is also a huge deterrence message to China. If they have any idea of going into Taiwan, Taiwan has the benefit of the Taiwan Straits between it. This is not something that is, I can assure you Xi Jinping would require a lot of laxatives today. Finally, there is this, Anand was right on one thing. The fuel prices are going to go up for a while and Putin is going to be happy about that. But remember, the people most thrilled about this, I can tell you in all my private conversations over the last 10 days with the Emiratis and Saudis, Israel has no better friend than the Saudis and Emiratis right now, who are sitting there and cheering every single thing. Half my information, there isn't a single Saudi who's willing to curse Israel. They're all like, oh my God, so good. They're doing it for us. How lovely. The Emiratis are much more effusive about it.
Right.
So, it is only the Indian Muslim, it seems, who comes out on the street and goes around stomping on Israeli flags.
I thought I'll keep that discussion for a Monday evening, but, now that Dr. Ranganathan has started it, it's on. Major General G.D. Bakshi also joining the broadcast. General Saab, good evening. If you can hear me, how do you see this? Did you see this coming? Was it always on the cards? Were there enough signs?
There were more than enough signs. In fact, the Beltway in Washington was very clear that this weekend was going to be monumental. And Operation Midnight Hammer has now been launched. It is supposed to be the final blow of the joint Israeli-American campaign. Look, Israel systematically destroyed the Hamas, the Hezbollah, and with the help of the United States, it has, degraded the Houthi capabilities. Now it had, cut the arms of the octopus. It now aimed for the head. So 13th, even while the talks were on the 61st day of the deadline that Donald Trump had given, Israel struck Iran with about 200 fighters, right? They went for SIAD, suppressed defenses, went for decapitation strikes, right? And then they went for the nuclear facilities at Natanz and elsewhere. They went for the surface-to-surface missile capabilities. They got total air superiority over first Western Iran and Tehran, and then the whole of Iran. Now they wanted the Americans to step in, so that the Americans alone had the B-2 bombers and the 16,600 kg GBU-57 bunker buster bombs that could destroy Fordow and the deeply buried, centrifuges at Natanz, as also at Isfahan, right? There was a lot of ambiguity, there was a lot of deception planning on the American side. Donald Trump said he needs 2 weeks, and he hit the very same weekend, achieving total surprise. 7 B-2 bombers took off from the United States. Another group of 7 went the other way for deception, right? And then 200 hours in the morning, some 125 American aircraft, to include preceding waves of the F-35 stealth fighters and the others, carried out sweeps. An American submarine launched 12 cruise missiles to take out the overground facilities, surface-to-air missiles. Most of it had already been destroyed by Israel. This was to be the final blow. The Americans have given detailed, the American Chairman, Joint Chiefs of Staff has given a very, very detailed blow-by-blow account. And we can all hear it on YouTube. But the simple fact is, they have said that we have significantly damaged. They still are awaiting the bomb damage assessment. So is the Iranian nuclear program destroyed or severely damaged, oblique degraded? Can it be revived? Right? Now the most thing was, what will Iran do? Just give me a couple of seconds more. What would Iran do? Iran hit back at Israel, right? Iran hit back at Israel with about 30 the hypersonic missiles, which have done a fair amount of damage, right? You know what is the worry? In decapacitating the Iranian leadership, the decision making has gone to the lower levels of the IRGC, who are hotheads. That is a great danger. They may decide to hit back at the United States, either on the United States ships and the aircraft carrier battle groups that are floating around. They may mine the Gulf of Hormuz. They may attack American bases in the Gulf. I think before going for economic targets and hitting the Saudi Arabian oil fields and the others, they will go in for specific